tech thing. Because I've heard all the stories.
Hell yeah.
All right! Thank you guys so much for coming out, round 1 and 2. Really appreciate it. You know, we can't be here without drivers and also the partners that we have that help, you know, fund the series and give out prizes. So thank you to everybody. Yeah, applaud there too. I guess I got one more like promotional thing for us. If you guys do one of the
coming, maybe a little timid, but still hitting that outer zone. You can hear a big hit of a big turtle roll up the hill. How will he handle the keyhole? Sets it nice down there, a little bit slow maybe, but that is going to be a nice banker lap. Not bad here from Cal. He's got a couple spots. This is the trickiest part of the track. No dirt drops, clean through there. FRS turbo power, swinging up the hill, good smoke, and there's Cal's second run. That's right, applause for him. First place, which will tell you second. First place with a score of 72 out of 90 is Cal in the FRS, which means second place is Kaylin with a 56. Nice job, guys. Really solid driving. We've got some prizes for you, but in the interest of time, I will get them to you in a little bit.
I don't give a fuck about a runner. I'm just walking back and running up like bitches on the back. Got a party. Got the whole ass talking if they get a party. Got a whole gang and we run on anybody. Bring our own bags, we were born in 99. The time to push the world was starting to
like this spot or
Chinatown, thinking to myself, I'ma build it like a kind of baddest sound that you ever felt. I'ma take a million flights around till that shit is felt. That's that either way, hey, that's no piece of cake, hey, that's that troll online that live inside the tree all day, hey, that's that he so gay, hey, that's that she so fake, hey, that's that insecure, hey, that's that Issa Rae, hey. You do you, me do me, so long as you don't fuss with me.
is Ryan Cost in the gray 350Z. Nice job, Ryan. Awesome battles. Which means that third place is Justin Hove for Blown Budget in the black Corvette. Sick driving. All right, our winner for round 1 of Daily Drip in 2025. The defending champion has returned and there takes the win. Second place goes to Shane Potsa in some ridiculous battles. Oh my goodness. Nice job, guys. Track is cold. Once again, congratulations, guys. We have some prizes coming for you. Adair has won a tint from Apex. Those guys are going to be working on one of his cars. Thank you to them. We won Aenso Care packages, so they're going to get those cars nice and clean. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you to all the partners who make this possible. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to everyone for being here. We're going to be at Stubborn Brothers tonight. We're going out at 6:30, so we'll be there by 7. We hope to see you there. And thanks again. Round 1 complete.
Take a page on my book for you try to come read me. I spent a few years on the road with a map doing dash with the team and shit. Even that couldn't free me. I'm stuck in a cycle of financial ignorance. Seem like my happiness really depend on if I got the money. If not, I'ma get it and shit. That's merch. Put a foot in my shoes for you judge how I'm stepping, dog. When you show your true colors, we don't call you fate, we just call that a blessing, dog. We call that redirection and shit, not to mention that shit that you spit should've came with a pension. Don't take no offense, cause you had a good run, it just sound like the end of it. Farewell. I've been riding around the town, roof down, cause it's hot. Gotta hurry, ills dirty, 12 lurking on the block. We ain't worried though. We ain't worried. I said riding around the town, roof down, cause it's hot. Got my 30 Curry jersey, ops lurking on the block. We ain't worried though.
We ain't worried for real, hold on. Hey.
We ain't worried.
Yeah, look, was born in the north. Either you shoot or play sports. Niggas got stencil, niggas got what? They throw up utensils. What? See niggas throwing up forks, I dare you retort. Had to get it, I moved out south on my own. I'm running through the SIP, got a pole, cause I still got like 40 blocks to go. But I'm never worried. Made it happen, said Brody moved jerkies and potions and oxys and addies. He even had 30s, was trying to stay clean, but somehow I got dirty. I grew up way too fast. At 17, I moved like I was 30. In this Glock of 17, but it grew up too fast. A whole like 30.
I've been riding around the town, roof down, cause it's hot. Gotta hurry, ills dirty, 12 lurking on the block. We ain't worried though. We ain't worried. I said riding around the town, roof down, cause it's hot. Got my 30 Curry jersey, ops lurking on the block. We ain't worried though. We ain't worried.
I mean, worry about what? Drinking more water, stacking Berrymane, Kuna Matata. Ayy, smoke out the back of a 6'4" Impala, plotting on dollars. It been that way since we doubled up polo collars. Niggas just high-key hating. Stay on the bass clef, low-key problems. Keep the shit straight, can't chase it. We keep a flowery fragrance, mirrors in cases, smoke, we pace it though. Miss one, next 15, one coming, that's basic though. Motherfuckers think we racing though. Motherfuckers can't run with us, couple of them ones with us. Watch niggas be patient though.
We ain't worried about a thing. We ain't worried about a thing.
We ain't worried though.
We ain't worried about a thing.
I mean,
We ain't worried about a thing.
right, guys, give us some cheers. In fourth place, Tony Schwellenbach in the black Camaro. Which means third place is Shane Costa in that green, winner round two. Mr. Exciting himself, Nate Cam. Which means second place, Lorenzo Caputo. Guys, phenomenal driving. Let's see that champagne. Guys, thank you all for coming out. We hope you had fun. We had a blast. We'll be back in June. We hope to see you all here. Congratulations to all our drivers.